Hello students, let's continue our chapter 4 from the supplementary reading, and that is a question of trust. Yesterday as we began the lesson, we were asked two questions, and they were, what does Horace Denby like to collect? And second one was, why does he steal every year? And I'm sure yesterday whatever we studied, you must have surely got the answer that why or what does Horace Denby like to collect and why does he steal every year? I am sure you have your answer. Now let's continue and then we will get another two questions which we will be reflecting upon and giving the answers. So please be with me. Yesterday, Horace Denby, who was a good, honest citizen, also how he goes to steal the safe, whose profession was of the making the locks, and so he was expert thief. Now, as he has gone to rob a house, to rob a safe, he just starts sneezing, and then we know that he had the hay fever. He had a sickness called hay fever, which was the allergy. And then we stop over there where Horace found that the flowers were hindering him in his work. He buried his face in his handkerchief. We stop over there. It was page number 21. So let's continue then. On page 21. Then he heard a voice say from the doorway, "What is it? A cold or hay fever?" Before he could think, Horace said, "Hay fever," and found himself sneezing again. So what is he saying? He's saying hay fever, and again he found himself sneezing. He again starts sneezing. Okay? Then the voice went on, "You can cure it with a special treatment. You know, if you find out just what plant gives you the disease." So what is it? You can cure this treatment. You only will have been able to cure yourself only what if you know which plants or what plant gives you this disease. Which disease? Hay fever, the pollen and all, due to pollen that he would get the allergy. I think I would better see a doctor if you are serious about your work. I think you would better see a doctor if you are serious about your work. Who says? The voice. We do not know whose voice it is. We will get to know it soon. And I heard you from the top of the house just now. Okay? And so, what? You better would see a doctor if you really are serious about your work. Turn the page, students. Come to the next page. I told you we are going to see another two questions. And they are, now as we are reading, the questions put forward to you is, first one is, who is speaking to Horace Denby? Who is the real culprit in the story? So students, we saw so far Horace Denby is a professional thief. He knew, and his profession was to make the lock. Therefore, he was an expert in stealing. But now as we are reading, we are thinking something is happening or there's a twist in the story. And so, who is speaking to Horace Denby? Whose voice, as I told you, we'll get to know soon. Who is the real culprit in the story? Now, whether Horace Denby is the one who is robbing it, somebody else is robbing, whom are they robbing, and what is the thing? What are the things being robbed? So, it was a quite kindly voice, but one with firmness in it. A woman was standing in the doorway, and Sherry was rubbing against her. Now, it was a quite kindly voice. The voice was very kind, the one which was talking to Horace Denby. But there was also firmness in it. And a woman was standing in the doorway, and Sherry was rubbing against her. Who is a Sherry, student? Sherry is a dog. She was young, quite pretty, and was dressed in red. Who is she? A woman who was standing over there, was dressed in red, was very pretty, young. She walked to the fireplace and straightened the ornaments again. She was wearing some ornaments and she tried to arrange it. The way she was wearing, tried to straighten it. "Down, Sherry," she said. "Anyone would think I'd been away for a month. So she's telling Shari, sit down. And what does she say? Anyone would think I had been away for a month. She smiled at Horace and went on. However, I came back just in time, though I didn't expect to meet a burglar. So what is she saying? I have come on time, though I did not expect to meet a burglar. So she did not want to meet any thief, any robber. But students, keep the question in mind. Who is speaking to Horace Denby and who is the real culprit in the story? You will get to know now who is the real culprit. And so Horace had some hope because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. He might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. He replied, I didn't expect to meet one of the family. So he says, oh, you did not expect to meet a burglar and I did not expect to meet a family member. So we are in the same boat, as if we are in the same boat. And what is Horace thinking? He's talking about, and he's saying to himself, if I treat her the right way, I'll be able to do what I want to be. She nodded. I see what an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. What are you going to do? So she's saying, I know it is an inconvenience for you. And what are you going to do? She nodded. Who is she? The lady who was in red dress. Horace said, my first thought was to run. Horace is thinking like running away from that lady, but then he doesn't do so. Of course, you could do that, but I would telephone the police and tell them all about you. They would get you at once. So what she's telling, if you're thinking of running away, I would phone the police and the police will get you. You see, you can see the woman in red dress, Sherry over there, Horace Denby thinking of running away. And then come to the next page. Okay, over here, next page. Horace said, I would telephone. Horace said, I would, of course, cut the telephone wires first, and then he hesitated, a smile on his face. I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough. So what is Horace is saying? You know, he's also a smart fellow. He's also a professional robber. So he's saying, I would, before you could phone the police, I would cut the telephone wires. And then what he's saying? A smile on his face. I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough. She looked at him seriously. You would hurt me? She's saying, seriously? Would you hurt me? Horace paused and then said, I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that. You didn't frighten me. So Horace is saying, I was just trying to frighten you. And the lady is saying, but you didn't frighten me. I did not get frightened. Horace suggested, it would be nice if you would forget. If you would forget you ever saw me, let me go. So Horace is telling her, you pretend, you say that you have never seen me and you allow me to go. The voice was suddenly sharp. Why should I? You were going to rob me. If I let you go, you will rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you. So what was the voice? Voice was sharp and voice is saying, why should I let you go? If I let you go, means what will happen? You will go and rob somebody else. And so she's saying society should be protected from people like you, men like you who are the robbers. Horace smiled. I am not a man who threatens society. I steal only from those who have a lot of money. I steal for a very good reason. And I hate the thought of prison. So what is he saying? He's giving his point of view. He's saying, I am not a man who threatens the society. I am not threatening anyone. I steal only from those who have lot of money. I rob only those who have lot of money, and I steal for a good reason. I hate the thought of going to prison. He doesn't like, he was already in prison and he hated that thought. She laughed and he begged, thinking that he had persuaded her. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it. So what is she saying? She laughed, and when she laughed, he begged her. He's saying that he felt as if he has persuaded her. He had made her mind. He had tried to convince her. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. Let me go. I promise never will I do this again. And he really means it. Who says that? These words are being said by Horace Denby. She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" Shouldn't question tag. Aren't you? You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you? She was watching him. She came over to him, shaking her head. "I have always liked the wrong kind of people." What she says, "I have always liked the wrong kind of people." She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter. "You will let me go?" He held the lighter towards her. So what is that? He is trying to give her a lighter to light a cigarette. And what is he saying? "You will let me go. Will you let me go? I want to go." Okay? "Yes, but only if you will do something for me." So what she says? "I will allow you to go, but only you have to do something for me. Anything you say." Now, Horace wants to run away from there. He doesn't want to go to prison. And so therefore what he says, "Anything that you say, I'll do, but you allow me to go. Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank, but I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight. So I came down to get them, but..." So who is saying that? Before we could go to London, that is the lady in red dress. She's telling, "I promised my husband to take my jewels, the jewelry, to take it to the bank, but somehow we left it here. And now that tonight, as I am going for the party, I would like to wear that jewelry, those ornaments, and so therefore I came down to get them. But..." You see how smart the lady is. Horace smiled. "You have forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you?" Horace, who was a professional, whose profession was to make the lock, he is thinking the lady has forgotten the number to open the lock. And now what? Now that she cannot open, she is not able to. So he is saying, "Haven't you?" "Yes," replied the young lady. The young lady says, "Yes, I have forgotten. Just leave it to me and you will have them within an hour. But I will have to break your safe." So what is he saying? "Just leave it to me, I will help you. But only the thing is that I will have to break your safe. Don't worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month and I will have the safe mended by that time." So what is she saying? You don't worry about breaking the safe. My husband will be here by that time and within a month's time, I'll mend the safe. So you don't worry about the safe. So who is going to help now? Horace is going to help the lady in red. We still do not know who the lady was, the voice, but we know the voice was of the lady. And within an hour, Horace had opened the safe, given her the jewels, and gone happily away. So what did he do? Poor chap. He opened the safe, gave her jewelry, and went back on his way. For 2 days, he kept his promise to the kind lady. To that young kind lady, he kept his promise. On the morning of the 3rd day, however, he thought of the books he wanted, and he knew he would have to look for another safe. So what happened? On the 3rd day, for the 3rd day, the next morning, he's thinking of the books he wanted, and he knew he would have to look for another safe. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. He never got the chance to begin. By noon, a policeman had arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. So what had happened? By noon, policeman already arrested him. Arrested him for what? Opening the safe. Now why is he arrested? When the lady told him, was the lady the real owner of the house? Students, still we have those two questions in our mind. And which were they? Who is speaking to Horace Denby and who is the real culprit in the story? You will get to know soon. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. So what is it? His fingerprints, because he thought she was the lady of the house and she only told him to open the safe, and therefore without wearing the gloves, he opened the safe. That's how his fingerprints were all over, and so he was caught. Now, the wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, said that the story was nonsense. So who is the culprit? Was Horace Danby was a culprit? Not at all, but the young woman in red dress was a culprit. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. What was the fear he had? He had the fear of going to prison. But where is Horace now? Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was and who tricked him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves. You got the students? That's why it was said in the beginning, he was the honest man, but he was not that honest, and also about Danby was a good and respectable, but not completely honest man. He had gone to rob, but there was a lady who was smarter than him and who took away everything and went, but whose name came? Horace Danby's, who is living a happy life, but who is going through all this life imprisonment is the Horace Danby, who is now the assistant librarian in the prison. Over here, students, we have finished the chapter 4 written by Victor Canning. Wasn't it a good chapter, student? I suppose you have understood the lesson. Now your duty is to complete the question answers given below. There are the question answers. Complete it. Have a good day.